everybody. Sorry for the delay to the show starting tonight. Yes, I was caught up at Exeter Airport. My son wanted to go and watch the first ever KLM flight land in Exeter. Yes, they've got a new schedule now. I think they fly in daily. This is not a plug, and no, they're not sponsoring the show. But yeah, in typical style, on Mother's Day as well, we went up there as Gavin dies in the background with his cough. We get up there and then the flight's delayed. It's like, oh no, I'm not going to make the show, so we had to delay it by an hour. So appreciate everybody for being patient. So welcome to the pod, folks. Well, it's a little bit funny, this feeling inside. Another draw against Watford, and our fight for survival is really slipping out of sight. So, we don't have much money, but boy, if we did, we'd buy a bigger squad, a stronger will to win. Instead, we're left with hope, faint as it may be, and if I were a poet, I'd pen us a miracle. But I'm no sculptor, just a fan with a mic. So here's our story, raw and true. The sweetest thing I can do is share this with you. Our season's hanging by a thread, but damn it, we're still here singing our song. Evening, gents. How we doing, Gavin?
Good evening. How are you?
Yeah, good. Evening, Herbie. How we doing?
Yeah, all good.
Yeah, so you've only got three of us tonight. Andy is chilling in Cornwall this evening. Carl has got a late Mother's Day meal that he's attending. We can't obviously upset mothers on Mother's Day. So you've just got the three of us. So anyway, we will hopefully keep you company for the next, say, give or take hour. So, Gavin, yesterday, a point not ideal for either team. Certainly probably one of the better first halves and starts to a game away anyway, and if not at home, to be fair, for a while that we've seen from Argyle. 2-week break, bit of time to rest with family, training pitch. What do you think of that yesterday?
Well, I'll start with thinking I'm probably wearing the wrong cap, because if it's the Three Amigos tonight, I probably should be in a sombrero. But there we are. That's my little bit of attempted comedy out of the way. I was actually quite happy at full time, I have to say. I did put a little tweet out. Depends which pair of spectacles you're viewing the game through at the minute. Are you viewing the game through a die-hard fan that thinks we can still stay up, in which case 3 or 4 gilt-edged chances that are not converted, one great save in the first half, I would probably say 2 butchered, and I use that word advisedly, butchered counter-attacks, and Tajani not hitting the target from inside the box was a bit criminal, although he'd only just got on. I'd be teasy if I was one of them. I am, in fact, sitting in the other camp, which is, this is a fait accompli. We are now building for League One, and this is our beginning of our pre-season. Playing against a good Watford side that, as Miron said, we didn't give them a sniff in the first half. I love we've had a shot chant at 43 minutes when they, from the home fans, that was, not us for a change, when they had a scuffed shot wide from about 30 yards. And I thought, we played really well first half, was happy with the scenario. Second half, obviously they were going to come up with a rocket up their backside, which they did. I would say that Barr changed the game. As soon as he came on, he was playing a different sport to everyone else on the pitch. Then he didn't fit quickly, don't they? So from that perspective, I thought defence were brilliant. I thought the midfield was much better with Randall and JB. I'll say those words before I get pelters on a certain social media site, because I stuck my head out in the first half and said, JB's had a good start. Jesus. I might as well have just shat on everyone's doorstep and on Mother's Day wipe their mother's nose in it for the response I had, quite frankly. Midfield were improved, and the front three were literally our front three. A certain Obafemi was probably our best player. Anyway, so that's my very quick. I'm sure we're going to
your brief synopsis.
Diver, that's my overriding synopsis.
Yeah, no, I don't think you can argue too much with that. Herbie, it was one of those. Oh, just to say, for those that didn't join us on the live lounge on Thursday night, Herbie joins us joins the pod, and he will provide the pre and post match, articles. So he's an aspiring sports journalist. So we've brought him into the fold to provide those, and also join us on the shows. So Herbie, yeah, I think there's an element I've sort of used this recently where you sort of think to a degree that do some of the players already feel that it's a tough ask, and actually by a different mental sort of state and mindset going into this final stage of the season, that actually, do you know what, got nothing to lose now, let's see what we can do. Do you think there was a bit of that in the performance in the first half yesterday?
There was an interview with Bundu, wasn't there? And he said that all the players are going to put like everything into like these last like 9 or 8 games. And well, especially yesterday, it was shown. I think we like first half an hour as well. It was weird because we were playing almost as the home team. I thought we were controlling the pace of the game.
Yeah.
We were on the front foot more. And even in the last bit of the first half, when Watford, they sort of grew into the game a bit more and started coming at us. And this is where you've got to praise Muslich as much as we like to give Muslich not very much praise at all.
Yeah.
And say like he's got no plan B. So the same way you've got to do that, you've also got to give him his flowers when he does get it right, and he did against Watford. First half an hour we were on the front foot. We were playing better than them, and then when we tired and they were coming at us, we stuck Hardy and Bundu like quite close to the centre circle, and every time we cleared the ball, we tried to hit him on the break. And if it wasn't for that, just the lack of end product, if we made that final pass and that pass got through and Hardy was through on goal, Bundu was through on goal, we go half-time 1-0 up and it's a different game and we hold on.
Yeah, I just realised. Sorry, I didn't put you in the main stream. I left Gavin up there to take all the claim. So yeah, no, I think it was. Yeah, there's definitely some really good sort of signs there. You have to feel a little bit sometimes when a player comes out saying we're going to give it all in the last nine games, and you're like, well, I hope you did in all those ones before now. But that's where I think the sort of the mindset and the mental side of it. We did that on a live lounge a couple of weeks ago. The mental and psychological effects on footballers, and even fans in these difficult situations. And if you become, although I still will clutch up that sliver, I am more relaxed and content with the fact that it's likely not to happen, so you don't get yourself sort of overly worked up or stressed out about it. And it was great sort of sat here watching it on Sky, obviously, as it was the feature game, and you thought, oh, we're having a good go here. And I'll bring up the let me just switch to the screen share because I'll bring up the FOTMob stats. There we go. So if you sort of look at the game, I mean, the possession wise, this is not uncommon now, is it? With seeing a Muslich Argyle side where the opposition has a sort of 70-30 possession split. And if I just flick over to the stats in the first half, sort of that was pretty much the same. And again, we did control it, didn't we, Gavin? We were sort of like, not panicking, being resolute. The defence was solid, like you said, the midfield was good. And I think JB did have a much better game. Randall back, and obviously both with a lot of rest over the break. Certainly Randall, obviously, with that red 3-game ban he got. So, yeah, it felt a lot better, and we did break. The Obafemi, the Bundu playing in that more forward, and Hardy out in that number 10 role. There was chances. We just throughout the whole game just couldn't refine that final third, could we? When the opportunities came.
No, I think Hardy will be disappointed with his effort in the first half, which was tipped around the post. Great save, but he scuffs it. I wrote some notes down watching sort of the game, but not the game on basically 3 times as fast. I thought Obafemi's probably strongest attribute on Saturday was his link play. Ironically, he played some wonderfully weighted balls through the defence. The first one, Hardy to set up the left-footed shot. I know he's right-footed, and that was a good effort. There was a ball in the I think first half where he sprays it from the centre circle out wide to Hardy again, and the shots blocked. That front three I thought were lively. Bundu looked quite quiet, and he obviously went off holding his hamstring, so I don't know how severe that although the scans showed clear whether he was still feeling something, but he certainly wasn't at his most effervescent best, would probably say, in that basis. He still played well, but I don't think he was probably as hungry as Obafemi looked or as hard he looked.
Yeah.
But I just think in transition we were just so much better. But I'm not going to stand on a little soapbox, but I am a little bit. I'll probably have one foot on it. When you've got two midfielders, and I think I'll text the group this in the first half, when you've got two midfielders that want the ball instead of one that does and one that doesn't, what a difference it becomes. Now, are they the two best midfielders in the league? No. Are they probably the two best midfielders for Argyle? Possibly. I don't know whether Boateng would end up being better than JB. But some of the pelters that both these boys got after yesterday's game, I thought was an absolute disgrace.
Yeah.
I thought our midfield probably plays the best it's played for a number of weeks. They both wanted the ball. They both were combative in midfield. Their 4-2-3-1 probably helped because it was a 2-on-2 battle, not a 3-on-2 battle like we've had in previous weeks. And I thought we were pretty solid. It was just it was all the grunt, wasn't it? And no cigar really. I think that was probably the biggest frustration, is that we had some really clear cut chances. I think as Herbie sort of just mentioned, to break with pace, which we did. And then we got in the final third, and it was absolute white line fever, to use another rugby term. And we fluffed our lines, and we dropped the ball over the try line. And that was the big challenge. Their keeper probably gave them the best save of the game. I think what was his stats? 8. So I think that tip around the post saves them, because I think if we do go 1-0 up, we don't concede.
Yeah.
Because I think our defence were absolutely first class. The three of them at the back, I chalked up 3 big blocks from Such, 2 outstanding blocks from Katic, 2 from
Pleggy.
From Pleggy,
Yeah.
one of which flicks onto the crossbar and goes over the top. And the amount of countless challenges that they made and cleared headers, I thought the back three were outstanding, even without Maxi.
Yeah. I think that was Herbie. That was the notable, obviously, player missing. We're out for the rest of the season. Maxi, so starting with Zux, Katic, and Plegazuelo, sort of. I thought they were all really really good. And actually, you see how important Zux's throw-ins can be as well. We did miss Maxi up front as well with that height, didn't we, to add some effect to those set pieces. But all in all, I think if you look at that back line, I think they were superb, and it was great to see Pleggy come back straight after that rib injury, come straight back in, and man of the match performance as well.
Yeah, well, I probably think that's the best game I've ever seen him play for Argyle.
Oh wow!
I genuinely think it was. Because I watched it back, so I looked back over the highlights to write my report, and just obviously because in the second half when Watford were attacking, it was the other end, so it's hard to see from my end, but it was just always Pleggy blocking it. Like the one that went onto the crossbar, I didn't realise he blocked that one. There was one Sissoko got round Pleggy and put a ball into the D. And Pleggy tracked back and blocked that one. I didn't realise that was him either. Yeah, so he was unbelievable.
Well, I think there was one. It was in sort of the second half. I think it was a shot from outside the box, and I think he got his head to it, and the one that hit the crossbar, I'm sure. Yeah, I think that was Pleggy. So, and there's
come off his knee.
Was it off his knee? Was it? I thought it was off his head. I haven't watched the highlights. Only the 2-minute reel that Argyle pit out, which seemed to strangely exclude the one gilt edge chance we had on the break in the second half. We'll come to in a minute. But yeah, Andy, evening Andy. Pleggy went proper old school with those tackles. Was buzzing watching him, even with no beer in the away end.
Oh yeah, they sold out of beer and they sold out of hot dogs as well by half time.
Oh,
so
wow.
There was no food, no drink.
Terrible. And I'm sure in that place they're probably expensive at the same time as well.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, look, and Hazard, as Gavin has said, there were some brilliant saves coming from him. So, really good, especially, and I think we'll come to the midfield during a minute. I'm just trying to that's it. I mean, I know Gavin, you noted it online and you tweeted in the WhatsApp group. But when he came on as a substitute, it was just immense, and obviously caused us a few issues. But yeah, no, I think Hazard, pulled off some brilliant saves. So his confidence is still up there. The midfield, Herbie, yeah, sort of Sorinola, back in after that, obviously silly red card. I thought he did all right. He struggled obviously with Barr, but two totally different physical players, opposites. But Randall and JB, sort of, we said this on our show before that. They both have played a lot of games, really sort of back-to-back games, and you could see that they were both looking tired, and we were saying how, need to rest them, and even with Boateng coming in, and he didn't overly use him or start him, and obviously Randall got the inevitable after the situation with the referee, 3-game ban, and obviously then the 2-week, international break. JB, just that 2-week international break. But although I could see bits where Randall was a little bit rusty at times, but
Yeah.
they both seem to sort of pair up again, and actually seeing them fresh. I agree with Gavin. I quite enjoyed watching that.
Yeah, I'm still skeptical. I don't know whether or not Randall JB is our best midfield partnership or Randall and Houghton, just because they've played with each other for so long now. I actually couldn't. If against Norwich we play Randall and JB and I look at the lineup, I'd be happy with it. If JB was out and it was Randall Houghton, I'd be happy with it as well. So I think to have someone on the bench like Houghton that I'm comfortable with starting as well, I think it will be good.
Well, there was no Boateng at all in the on the
Yeah.
bench, was there? So, do we know, Gavin? Is there an injury there? Did anybody ask that in the post-match interviews? Do you know?
I've looked for the post-match interviews, mate, and I can't see any online.
Oh.
I looked this afternoon once I got back from Mother's Day lunch and can't see anything on their YouTube anywhere. So no, it certainly wasn't mentioned in the Argyle post-match press. So that's one thing. But I haven't seen like Chris Errington or any of the media's questions after the game, so I don't know.
No, fine. Herbie, have they actually released those then, or did we not have a post-match presser?
Normally, the home team will release them. So, like historically, Watford will put it out and they'll do both managers. But I didn't.
Yeah, I didn't see anything. And Al Hadj wasn't there either, was he?
No. So another one noticeable missing. Just to because obviously he's tuned in. If he has tuned in, he's tuned in late because we did mention him at the start where Andy and Carl were. But Andy posted in the comments, what about a shout out for the Grumpy Loyal? And to be fair, Andy I think has only missed one show, and we are in our 39th, maybe 40th show actually. This might be so. It's rare that he does miss them. So hope you are listening in, Andy.
And it's Carl's birthday as well, Mr. Host. You might want to.
I did at the start. If you were paying attention. So I mean, this is what I have to work with, folks. I mean, I don't pay him, so it's I have to just live with it.
I was having a coughing fit, so I'll mute myself, and that's probably why I didn't hear it.
Carl's, and he's also got himself a new car today, so he's joined the Mercedes crew. So he's happy as well. It's his birthday. Yeah, happy birthday to Carl as well. So sort of looking at Pusat or whatever you want to pronounce it. I think I'm getting it right now, but I didn't think he had a bad game. 7.1 on there. He was only a few in the sevens. Was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the Argyle squad. I didn't think he had a bad game at all. And then sort of coming to that forward line, Obafemi. Gavin, you said before that it would be typical of Obafemi as he comes to the end of the season. He needs to, get that sort of contract extended somewhere or an offer somewhere, and then he pits in arguably his best game for us so far.
Yeah, what a shock. But I'll give the guy a bit of a benefit of the doubt. He hasn't had a run of games, has he? So he's
No.
been in and out like a fiddler's oboe for the last 8 months. Let's be candid. And he showed glimpses of being a really good player, and then he's been left out again. Portsmouth, the last good game before this one, I thought he did really well, and then he didn't start the following game because he had a sickness bug or something. I think if he gets a run of the next 7 games, he'll do more good than harm, and he'll need to. But I think his salary is 25k a week with Burnley, which was 50 grand a week when they were in the Prem. So I think he has the second best agent in the United Kingdom behind your doppelganger, to be candid. But he's still useful to someone. A lot of people, again, were... And it's social media, isn't it? Isn't it interesting? I nearly put a tweet out yesterday of watching lemmings jump off a cliff, because sometimes there's a common opinion about a player and then they can turn into Pele for 90 minutes, yet they still will be absolutely slated because it's just lazy. I did try and school someone yesterday to say, actually watch the game and not Twitter for your opinions, and you might actually have a better outcome of what you're talking about online.
That's not like you just try and school people on Twitter or X, sorry.
But look, I don't mind people taking pelters, and I've done it on this show.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Jordan Houghton took the wrath of my frustrations a couple of weeks ago because I thought he hid away in the game where he was playing with a young kid, and I didn't think he was courageous enough to go and want the ball. But that was for a good reason. But to just lazy say JB is shit, Obafemi is shit, etc., etc. They're not fit to wear the shirt. They should never wear the shirt again. Randall took pelters yesterday on X and on free chat, which I glimpsed into and I remembered my password for Facebook. Absolute pelters, and you think to yourself, where do these people get these opinions from? Because they're either not watching the same game as we are, or they have no understanding of the game of football.
I think this is the problem with the frustration that everybody's got because of obviously the acceptance of, we're going to go down. I think, if we'd have got that, win yesterday, it would have kept them alive a little bit. A lot of people are resigned to it, but still the sort of away from home where we've been shocking, to have the best first half we played in ages and then come away with a point is still very good. But I mean, when you look at Randall there on 7.6, Obafemi on 7.2, JB the lower of them there on 6.2. I mean, Herbie, if you take Obafemi, sort of analysing him yesterday, the only frustrated sort of side I had with him yesterday was he tried to look for a foul too much.
Yes.
And when we were in their half, and there was one where he tried to look for the foul, and it was so obvious he tried to jump into the player and then fall down. And it led to a great ball, and I think that might have been Bar that then sprinted off and took a shot and
that was
saved
the
by Hazard.
one opportunity. I don't mind players doing it, and obviously Sorinola is a player for us who does it really, really well when he's in difficult situations, when he's got his back to the defender and he's going the wrong way. He uses his body well and gets the foul, but there's a way of doing it, and Obafemi just can't do it. But I think it would be harsh to look at the negatives of his game because he was,
I know that was. Other than that, I was more than happy with it.
He was really good yesterday, and also people on Twitter saying about like JB, and like I don't know. There is a difference of there's a difference of having a bad game and being crap. There's like players will have bad games. They're not going to be perfect every single game, and even they could have a run of 3 games where they're not very good. But it doesn't mean they're crap because in the next 3 games they could be really good. It's just how football works. I think Argyle fans need to stop being so reactionary towards our players as much because they'll go through stretches of good games and they'll go through stretches of bad games. But it's just...
I think that the challenge is, for me, is I don't want people being reactionary. It's a reactionary sport. There are a lot of people out there that are, by nature, in their demeanour, they're very passionate people, and it's the pendulum swings from one game to the next. When we win, it's like load up the Wembley bus. We're on our way to the playoffs, even though we're still rock bottom. The following week we lose, and it's like Simon Hallett's the worst man in the world. The club's shit. It's never been worse. Da da da. But the bit that irks me more than anything are Niall Ennis has scored for Blackpool. So why isn't he back with us? Fuck me, we let him go. And you're like, oh Jesus Christ! It's like battered wife syndrome.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Shuey won this week.
Beats me because I upset him. It just does me fucking nuts. Excuse my French. But just no. I'm sorry. No. Don't look back. Don't. No. Oh, we've lost his ass. Yeah, we have. Move on. Well, we can afford his wages. It for me, we've got a playing squad, right, that need our support, irrespective whether we go up, down, or stay here. Don't jump on their back. And there was a comment yesterday from someone who I won't name, and Ninja Matt and I were chatting, and he was like, I want Beidou to break every bone in his body and never play football again.
Yeah, I was leaving this comment from Matt. Good evening, Matt. Good to see you on again. And because, coming on to the subs, I've sort of ranted a bit. It's rare that I do it against a player, and but I certainly don't I don't post that sort of barbaric type of tweet, and it's just you just don't need it. I mean, Ninja Matt said, Beidou took way worse than that. The breaking bones comment came out again, and it's I'm sorry, but even if the person who tweeted that is watching, it's just go out, take a look at yourself in the mirror, because respectfully, you don't need comments like that. But sort of coming on to Beidou, the best chance really of the game. I mean, there were some great ones in the first half. Hardy, unfortunate with that shot as well that forced a save from the keeper. If it had gone, the other side of the goal where he had more of the goal mouth to shoot at, but in that moment in time, the keeper pulls off, and Selvik is a great goalkeeper as well, and pulled off a great save there. But the clear chance came, with Wright coming on, with Beidou coming on, all that energy. Mumba was on. And Tijani had come on just as that opportunity came in, and it was like a brilliantly won ball from Wright. When a ball's hit high like that, and a defender's trying to turn around, for those that haven't seen it, then it drops down. He doesn't control it. Wright gets into it. He sets it off, and I think he passes it to Tijani, doesn't he? Who then passes the forward pass to Beidou, who's breaking forward. Wright is pelting down, clearly onside with the last defender behind, and it was almost like slow motion, where you're like, you're gonna pass it, Beidou, aren't you? You're gonna pass it. It's a straightforward side foot pass to Wright in the box. You're gonna pass it, and just stops, and then just as quickly as that, all the defenders are back, and then the opportunity's lost. And Gavin, I know you've sort of come out and said, yes, we have to sort of bear with a little bit, or you can clarify that. I know you don't disagree that it was an awful decision, but in a moment where they had all the pressure, Watford, in the first half, Beidou breaking with that breakaway like that, and Beidou just not passing that ball just was criminal and probably cost us the game. And I think my big point on Beidou overall, and why I sort of let a bit of frustration out, is normally with new players, we're not expecting, or we probably do try and expect too much at times. And we've been lucky with Katic, Maxi, Zooks, Pukac and that joining us recently. But you at least expect, when a player isn't playing all the time, to see some glimpses. Like, Obafemi, because you've seen him do it in the Championship, and he comes on, he's strong and he's aggressive. But I've not seen one single thing from Beidou in the times that he's been on, even though limited. That makes me think, God, tell you what, you can see where he's got that in his locker. I just can't see it, Gav.
His best game for the club, ironically, was his first game, I think, away at Brentford, when he played in a false nine. I think that day he showed some magic touches. He held the ball up pretty well, but it's not an aggressive, typical Championship centre-half he's playing against, is it? It's, in the Premier League, you get lots and lots of time on the ball, and they try and outfox you and outfootball you as a centre-half rather than kick you in the rosette. So I think categorically that was probably, I don't know what his FOTMOT stat was, but for that game, but I think that was his best game. So that sort of says he's gone
6.1.
down.
6.1. Yeah, for yesterday.
Right? For yesterday. So So he's gone downhill since. The point I made, and I chucked this on X, and I also first threw it into the WhatsApp group for us. If you look at him playing with confidence, happy in a environment where he's got game rhythm and he's match fit for Augsburg, he looked a different human being.
Yeah, so just to highlight there, you've a bit like what you did when we did our Muslich, what to expect, dissecting the supposed hoofball on Thursday night's live show. That is on YouTube, or go to the block9.co.uk and you'll find it on there. You've studied a lot of his videos, haven't you? So you can give more context of what we can expect, as opposed to whether or not, obviously, he can deliver.
I think I said yesterday on Twitter, right? If you bumped into him in the Royal William Yard and bought him a coffee and said, Michael, what's the crack? He would just say, probably, I'm a shadow of my former self. This isn't me. This isn't how I play football. This isn't my ability. This isn't the way I set up. This is not me, right? I think he would say that. If he's honestly, I've never met the guy, but he seems like an honest human being from the early stuff that we saw of him. But I think we have to have a bit of patience. People have got, and talking earlier about the rose-tinted spectacles a lot of the current Argyle fans have, and I'm talking the young kids that are in their mid-20s that stick a Stone Island jumper on and waltz around Home Park like some of the boys of yesterday on the City 125 belting shit out of each other. They haven't seen much in terms of where we've been and players that have been developed. But even in recent past, and they forget this, Finn Azaz was here 18 months. He spent his first 6 months in the team, out the team, on the bench, in the team. He was nothing special that first 6 months. I'm sorry, he wasn't, right? The second year, or the second 6 months, he warmed up. And then up to that last period in that second year, up to Christmas, he was unstoppable. But he wasn't a record breaker straight away. Look at last year, Bundu, barely in the side.
Yep.
Saranola, right?
Pleggy. Yeah, Alex, Argyle analyst, made
people
this.
That came to the club and they go, he's a squad player, right? Yeah. So just because you pay one, and I think this is where the frustrations come. We paid 1.5 million quid for the guy, right? He would have been, it was good times, Matt. I was playing rugby at those times, but I did look from afar and say, I could have either beat someone up legally with the number 3 on my back on a Saturday with a pair of studs, or gone onto a train and kicked shit out of someone in the knuckle dusters, but I chose the former. But just for me, in all seriousness, I think we have to give the guy some time. You say more time. He hasn't showed anything. Fine, I get all of that. But if we'd signed him for 600-700 grand, everyone would be going, "Oh, well, we've got to give the guy a bit of time, haven't we?"
Yeah, and $1.5 million isn't massive, is it?
No, it's not. But it was for us at the time. It was our record bloody fee, right?
Yeah.
It was £500,000 more than we paid for Whittaker, and £500,000 more than we paid for Ballymumba. So just in my head, I'm thinking, okay, he's got to have some time. Now, he's played 2 seasons back to back, right?
Yeah.
So June's going to be his first.
Yeah, because when there's finishes, full season he had. Yeah.
Yes, he's had 2 or 3 weeks off now, and he's not played, but he's still trained every fucking day, right? He's not sat on the beach with his missus. He's not gone to the Caribbean. He's not gone to Dubai. He's not put his feet up and ate some nice food and switched his mind off from the game. He's in there every day. Just because he hasn't played doesn't mean he hasn't trained and his mind's not there at work. You know as well as I do, whether you're in work or you're not, if you're having a day off, your mind never wanders. You need that full break to go on holiday and do those whole things. Is he a good player? I absolutely think so, right? And just going back to your earlier point about the research I've done, in that team at Cercle Bruges, they had a very quick, dynamic running 8 that took the ball and drove at the opposition in transition. That's Beidou. If you look at what Beidou's done on those highlight reels I showed you yesterday and I put on X, he gets the ball, he runs directly, quickly, the ball sticks to his feet, and he's very, very good at finding a pass. We haven't seen that yet. No. We'll see it next season, I guarantee you that.
Do you think with that opportunity yesterday that he was all, because as you were watching it unfold, you almost thought he was caught in two minds of, do I carry on driving forward and then try and have the shot, or do I pass it to right? And I'm sure if we asked him, he would probably say, yeah, look, in the moment I was just in two minds, because he is used to driving it forward.
Lack of confidence, right?
Yeah.
Right, lack of confidence. That's it. Those are the three words. He didn't know whether to basically spin or twist, right? Or I'm going to take a shot. If that was Michael Bailey playing for Elfsborg, he'd have either found that pass very early in the piece and then said, "Go on then, Callum, put it away," or he'd have got to the edge of the box and he'd have buried the bastard top corner in the top right hand corner, because he had that confidence. But he was Bambi in the headlights.
Yeah.
Shit, what am I doing here? And because he's got no game rhythm, because he doesn't obviously believe in himself at the minute, because the fans, and let's be candid, all the players read social media. To have players or fans saying, "Oh, I hope he breaks every bone in his body and they're replaced for the club again," I'm sure that's an uplifting statement for him to go and train the following day. So I just think, his head's gone.
Yeah, I think Andy and Matt's comment. So, Matt, constant berating doesn't really help, to be honest. Confidence is key. He's got none at this point in time. Not sure how you get it back. Maybe we need the off season for him, which sort of similar to what Andy's saying. Andy said big clubs buy players and they just train and watch. At Argyle, they're expected to fit straight in by some fans. Let's wait and see. I think that Herbie is I totally agree. I think, we have seen, like we mentioned, the likes of, even Houghton at the start of last season wasn't that great and then was superb the second half. Pleggy, Sorinola, the same Bundu, and sort of certainly Sorinola and Pleggy have been the rising stars in this second half of the season. But I think for me, when that pressure maybe wasn't as heavy yesterday. And I think for me, more so the frustration is the team worked hard. And as your sort of brilliant presentation on Thursday showed with what we went through, those counter-attacks after, all the press and everything, and we forced a mistake, forced an error of that. And it was like that could have been a match winner, but it didn't happen. And that with other results, as you can see from the FOTMob screen when I was sharing, and other results obviously didn't go our way as well. So Herbie, what was you were there watching live? So what did you think of his showing when he was on?
Well, I don't know. I really think that I just haven't seen anything from him. And I get that he's had a season, or he's played 2 back-to-back seasons and maybe his confidence is low. But I expect to see just something to show that he can do it. And Gav, you say about Azaz was a squad player. He was in and out. Azaz, on his debut, scored for us, I think. He scored against Barnsley 1-0 in his League One debut.
Yeah.
So maybe after that he had an absolute rotter and he played awful, and then he was out of the team and he had to grow himself back in. But on his first ever game, he showed straight away that he could do it in a league that
you could say though, to just to rebut that though, Herbs, you could say that against the team who had the second best home record in Europe, right? He played as a false 9 against Brentford. And did pretty well and equipped himself like a real player. And I don't remember anyone after the Brentford game when we won 1-0 saying, "Oh, our record signing's a donkey."
Yeah, but then again, I don't remember anyone saying that Beidou even had a great game or played to the standard of a Randall, of any other player that we have. No one watched his debut and thought, "Oh, he's a £1.7 million player." And of course you won't, because you can't judge him on one game.
Yeah.
But after a 10, 11 game stretch, we can see him. And for me, I haven't seen enough of him. And that doesn't mean he won't come good. I think he will, because the evidence is there. He's playing in the Europa League and he's played well. He just needs time and a run of games. And going back to what you said about Obafemi as well, he played his best game because he's had a run of games. If Beidou plays bad, but we continue to stick with him and play him in a run of games, I think he will get better.
Yeah, I think that's a fair shout. I'm conscious that we don't dwell on the poor lad. We're not gonna. We try and stay sort of as collective with our thoughts as possible. I just, for me, where I'm always pitching, as everybody knows who watches and follows me, that we've still got that glimmer of hope of staying up. And I didn't expect though to go and get a win against Watford. I was hoping to see a big improvement because of the 2 week international break. I know it wasn't 2 solid weeks on the training pitch, but it was a good chunk of that. And where Miron can get and Osman Basic and all the other guys can get right into the squad. So I mean, just Marcus, evening Marcus. I did wonder if you were going to come in tonight, but he's in the chat. He's just left it with us three. But good to have you in. He says, no wonder Beidou looks unsettled with some of the comments being said about him, especially coming to a new country. We'll say, though, that Miron's initial speech is about dealing with those sort of challenges and the mindset of that, when players need to have that. We do know he wasn't obviously a Miron signing as well, and he did, as we know, wanted to come here to play for Rooney, and whether or not that situation changed as he came to us has affected him in any way. Also, Marcus has said, Pleggy plays like a player who knows he's loved by the fans. He had his first game, and I remember sort of falling in love with him in his first match, Pleggy, and even the Pilgrims podcast that I like to listen to. I think Tom Kirk on there, if I remember that correctly, fell in love with him. Like everybody on there, to be fair, everybody's like, oh, he's fantastic. And then he had an awful spell afterwards, so you can sort of instantly be loved by the fans, and then suddenly you start playing bad. Accidental Pilgrim, good evening, good to have you on again tonight. Agree, he's a young lad in a new country and a unique part of the new country as well, but the best part. He'll come good. There's a player in there and we have to support him. I think the whole thing with let's get to the end of the season now, we might see more of Beidou. I think your point, Herbie, on it is about having sort of regular games, and I think this is where, because we've been in this dogfight, because we've had injuries as well, we have chopped and changed, Gavin, haven't we? The sort of team quite a bit, and even those that are coming out questioning, will Miron stay? Will Miron want to stay himself? He is sticking with the project that is in hand, and I do implore you again to go and watch. If you're unsure and you didn't see it on Thursday night, if you're unsure about whether or not Miron's style was the right style of football that we want, and is it really going to prove to be positive for us, go and watch that presentation, and equally go and look at the highlights. It's all about, sometimes you've got to invest your own time to really understand something properly, because else you are just going to give a comment as you see it. And until he has a pre-season and we start whatever league that's in, yes, probably League One, then we'll start to really understand. So anything to add, Gavin?
Look, the guy's got to get a bit of a break. I think if they play him, there'll be a plan in the new year. And one of the things that I think is going to be really interesting for me, just to take a bit of a wider lens on this, is next year in League One, we're not going to have 28% possession.
Yeah.
Right? We're going to have far more of the ball at home and away. Fact.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's Miron's plan? And I think I know it because I've spent enough time watching it. But when we've got 60% possession, we got to play a different way. Okay. Now I think Michael Beidou falls and Rami Al-Had for that matter probably play the same role, so on rotation, but play the same role of getting the ball in a midfield diamond and get up the pitch. That for me is the sort of the interesting part. I think he will come good next year. I think he will score some goals. I think he'll get game time between now and the end of the year. But I mean, just to go back onto a conversation similar vein.
Yeah.
But Obafemi is a Premier League footballer, right? He hasn't hit the ground running, right, at all. He was on 50 grand a week. He scored goals in the Premier, he scored goals in the Championship. He's an established Championship player. He's struggled because he hasn't had a run of games. Now he's got a little bit of run of games and a bit of confidence. He's all of a sudden showing us his wider game. He's much happier and everything else. So I think, like everything, you chuck a young guy who's, I don't know what, he's early 20s, and Beidou, into a dogfight in January, right, when the pitches are heavy and it's freezing cold, and he's a flair player. He ain't going to be that type of player that's going to come and hit the ground running. Rami Al-Hajj has been exactly the same.
Yeah.
He scored in his first game, did really well. He's been up and down again, like a horse draws since, in terms of form. He's not done, I think he sometimes hasn't done the basics well enough and isn't pressed high enough. But we've also seen when he's had a run of games, he's a good player. So I think everybody, it's the poison chalice, I think, that flair player, of what Rooney described people as a luxury player. That's what I think he described Rami Al-Hajj as a luxury player. They're not in a team full of confidence going forward where they can pull off flicks and tricks and put through balls through, because no one's got any confidence. So in a team that's probably dominating in League One, or certainly very, very competitive in League One, I think we'll see with more time, more space, I think we'll see a much better and improved product from both.
Yeah, definitely.
Sorry, playing in a style of football as well that suits you is more crucial than people believe it is. And the example is Birmingham with Rooney. So with John Eustace, Birmingham were 6th in the playoffs, even 5th. I think they even reached a 4th at one point, maybe. They were in the playoffs. They were playing really, really well. Rooney comes in, plays a different style of football with these players, and they go all the way down to the relegation zone. And that isn't right, really, is it? Because players like Jay Stanford is a really good player. They had players like Sakiri Dembele, a really, really good player. And they were, and these were players that were playing for a playoff team and then playing for a relegation team. And it wasn't just because they, just completely fell off as players and all of a sudden were crap. It was the style in which they were playing. And Beidou is not a dogfight sort of player, like where the ball's in the air. He's not going to be winning headers, is he? And I do agree with you, Gav, that next season, if we are in League One with Beidou and Al-Hajj, who are technically on the ball, very good players, they'll play well and they'll be some of the best players in the league, I think.
I tell you, sorry, Gavin, I was just going to say that I'll go straight back to you. Just the 2 times we've had you on, Herbie's new to the show. Everyone knows that have come in to join us late. Welcome, everybody. There's only 3 of us tonight. Obviously, Mother's Day, so lots of commitments, and we were an hour late as well because of me. Herbie's sort of going to do our preview articles, match articles, and post-match reviews as well, which will get posted on our website and we'll tweet. But I have to say, Herbie, we sort of. Gavin's touched upon it, but some of the younger Argyle fans, and it's not all, but sort of have a very sort of quick assessment and look at things, and it's very simplistic. But I have to say, just even listening to you in that little bit you just said, then you clearly understand football. Obviously, what he wants to get into sports journalism, and you really studied and in the points you're putting across. I have to say, are spot on. Gavin, sorry for the interruption.
Echo that. I think we should change his little name to Errington Junior.
Hang on a minute. Would you be happy with that though?
Yeah, that's absolutely fine.
Okay, fine.
It's probably because a lot of people my age were Man United fans first and now supporting Argyle. So I will say it. That is fine.
Herbie, just go and ask your dad, because otherwise Mike will cry, if you can be called Errington Junior on the pod, right? Because I know you'll get upset otherwise. But no, all joking aside. When Danny Mayer played in League One, right, apart from Graham Carey, he was worshipped in this city.
Yeah.
Probably never bought a pint. Probably never will buy a pint when he comes back. Danny Mayer is a club legend.
Yeah.
Okay. My pound is, next year, Michael Beidou and Rami Al-Hajj will be better players in League One than Danny Mayer.
There you go.
Because I think they've got better and higher pedigree. But it's a different conversation. If you thrust Danny Mayer into this team today, at his peak, when he was playing for us, I don't think he
No.
did particularly well either.
No, Gavin, I think
right? It's horses for horses.
It's spot on. I think when you look at everything in context, we always go on about, yes, Beidou was our biggest signing then until Maxi, but you do look at Maxi and Katic, and it's like, and even Pukac, to be fair, and even Souks, I think needs, sometimes doesn't get as much credit as he should do, but they've come good straight away. They've come good, but that, and they were Miron signings, but I think we don't spend 2, 3, 4, 5 million on players in this league where that is not uncommon, and actually going if still we go down, there's that chance that yes, we could see a really good squad. One tweet yesterday that blew my mind, Gavin, is someone say we need to just almost bin the whole squad and start again. And I'm like thinking, really, this could be a really, really good, strong squad going into League One if that is the case. And those two examples could be shining stars.
But the team we fielded yesterday would be very, very competitive in League One. Sorry.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think people realise, and probably because when we went up on the Shuey, we had a mid-table budget, and I love these comparisons, right? Where they go, oh, look at that team. Look at the team we've got today. Oh, that team of League One would have pissed our side. No, they wouldn't.
Yeah.
They were doing well in a League One structure.
Yeah.
Okay. Which, yes, we had Ipswich, and yes, we had Sheffield Wednesday up with us. Bolton were pretty strong. Barnsley were pretty strong. But the wheat and the chaff in that league, it's poor, guys. And I think it's got poorer. If you look at some of the games now, and I've watched a few on a Friday night or a Saturday when there's been nothing else on, and I didn't fancy the Championship game when we've been away. The standard is quite poor, right? I'm sorry, but you can't say that, as much as they're great players for us, but, Wilson, Gillespie, they're not in the same breath as the defenders we have at the minute. The midfield is probably the only place I would say where we've got. Woodley was a very good player on loan for us from Sunderland. Potentially Kamara, actually, I think would be there or thereabouts in terms of him and on form. That is not where he is today, playing at Crawley, but on form for us, I think would be a good midfielder. We had quite a good midfield in that team, but I think the forwards, our best player was probably Ennis, right, who's been struggling like hell and now finding form in League One. Cosgrove was average and he's now struggling to get in a Barnsley side every week. Ben Wayne, well, we love Ben Wayne, but he should probably play rugby. He'd make a good outside centre, I think. Not in comparison when you look at the players we've got now. So the Championship has got better year in, year out. The standard's better. It's more intense. We've got a low budget. The team are devoid of confidence. They've had 4 managers in 2 years, or 18 months, in fact. Let's be candid. If you include Nance being one and our former director of football being another, it's 5. Okay, so we had 5 managers in that time frame. Yeah, all of them wanted different styles, different plays. No wonder their head must be spinning. So I'm sorry, drop in a young Michael Beidou in and say, "Go on, lad. This is your second season on the bench. Go and kill it for us." I'm not bloody surprised that he's been average or below average. It's not. So we need a reset. We need to go down. I'm sorry, but we do. We're not ready, but I think we will be ready. New investment. I'll open that can of worms coming, right? Will give us a better squad. We already have a top 6 squad. I think if the investment goes through, which I think it will in the summer, we'll have a top 1, top 2, depending on who comes down with us. Then we can be really competitive. Then we can sign players who are probably mid-champ now, who we should have signed this year, because we'll have the budget to do so. And then we can go back up with a much better plan, a much more drilled squad when we do go up. But next year should just be about now getting good players, well drilled in a system where we can play attacking football a la Miron. So quick, win the ball as hard as possibly can, get down the wings, into the red zone, score a goal. I think I'm saying that in my sleep at the minute. And we move forward. But it is a shit show at the minute. We're doing the best with a very bad job. And I don't envy Miron or Adin or any of the coaching team on that basis, because they're playing with damaged goods.
Yeah, it's very absolutely, and we bring it back to to this, don't we? A lot on the show, and and when you look at when Miron came in, and I think he only had 2 7-day breaks up until this one that's just gone, and we had that FA Cup run, and and all that jazz. There was so much going on, to try and also trying to find a couple of players, and obviously he pushed and pushed and pushed on Katic, who originally said no, and he came in, believed in the opportunity. Whether or not he will stay, it'll be a wage thing. You have to look at that as a player. Maxi obviously is a signed player. Hopefully he sticks it out. If we can, keep a couple of those core ones, Pukac may not stay, but that will be great going into that league, starting afresh again and getting some additional players into the squad. Yeah, I'm excited for what next season will bring. And as you said, on the investment side, and Simon Hallett's, into a newsletter that came out again the other day is talking of that being even closer now to being a done deal. Maybe there's the acceptance of that we are probably going down over that after that Derby game, and that sped things along. But yeah, I mean, Herbie as a 17-year-old, sort of not witnessing a huge amount, of Argyle's sort of trials and tribulations. Certainly our last time in the Championship, and a totally different approach of where throwing money at things can go badly wrong. But it's certainly been a tough Championship sort of run again for us, isn't it? I call it run. It's not really a run, is it? 2 seasons.
Yeah, well, if you look at, I think last season, if we're going back to that, Rotherham came bottom of the league.
Yeah.
And they've gone down to League One, and they've not come anywhere close to playoffs. I think they're sat 17th or something. But it is nice to see that we are like resigning ourselves to the fact we're going down. But the players we've got, a little bit of hope, but a lot of the normal people have resigned that we're going down. And it's still nice to see that we're still positive in the fact that, okay, we might not win the league, we might not even get automatics, we might not even get playoffs, but we'll be pushing for it. And I think we can also, with 100% confidence, that we will be dominant in League One. Whereas we're nowhere near as bad as Rotherham were last season. We are 10 times better than they are.
Yeah,
and because they went down, or we relegated them, didn't we? We relegated them on April 5th.
Yeah.
And I don't think we can't get relegated on April 5th, can we?
No.
So I think we are 10 times better than they were, and they've gone down to League One and not even come close. At one point, it even looked like they were getting relegated. So I agree it's a tough league to get out of, but we will be dominant in League One. 100%.
I think that's the thing, isn't it? I think they'll sort out this, sporting director or director of football, whatever you want to call the role. Maybe sort of fine tune a bit more around the back room. But I think we've got a good build already going on there. So yes, you can just sort of say if we could get through and we could still achieve something to stay up, then great. But look, let's just go out there, with all our heart and try and fight it out. I'm just going to bring the screen share up again. So let me just go back to this one. Hang on. Where is it to? There we go. Just touch up on the remaining games that we've got next. So obviously Norwich next. If we look at it, it's 4 home games effectively. Can we get 12 points from home? It's going to be the home games that will sort of do something for us or not. But obviously Norwich, after the embarrassing result away to them, probably the worst seen in a while, but we've had a few of those sadly.
Yeah.
So yeah, Norwich at home, then we go to Swansea away, Sheffield United, which considering that race at the top, that's not going to be an easy home game.
No.
Then Middlesbrough away, Coventry at home, and then Preston, and then Leeds. I really, really don't want to. If there's like a sliver right on that last game, we could stay up again. We don't want it to be Leeds. But what are you thinking, Herbie, in that final sort of run of games?
I saw a stat out of the bottom 4. So I think us, Luton, Derby, and Cardiff. Out of the bottom 4, we have got, in league positions, we've definitely got the toughest games, because obviously we've got to play Sheffield United and Leeds, which is ridiculous. Both at home, which is almost a bit of an advantage. But yeah, but I stand by the fact that I think we do play better against better teams, 100%.
Yeah, we do. And also, Herbie, there's a lot of the other teams do have to play each other as well. Without bringing it all up, I believe there's a few of them that do have to play each other.
Yeah. I don't know who has to play each other, but the fact that we've not got to play anyone in the relegation sort of fight is maybe a blessing. Maybe we just got to let them do what they need to do. Maybe because if they
trip
fight
up.
it out and they get a draw and it's just a point, and then we go and win, because we do play better against better teams. If we go and win and beat someone like Norwich, or scrape a 1-0 against Sheffield United, yeah, I definitely think we can. Because I can't remember what the game was before Sheffield United, but we were absolutely terrible. And I remember thinking, me and my mate had tickets for Sheffield United and thought, do we even bother going? It's just going to be horrible. They're so good at the moment. And we went and we played probably the best I've seen us play all season. And we were really, really good against them.
Yeah.
Because I do generally think coming up to the big occasion, the big game, we do step up. Like the players, people like Randall and people like Edwards and people like Hardy, they almost get it across, and they get it across to the players that what it means to play for Argyle in those sort of big games, and it definitely does show.
Yeah, I think, Steve, just joined in the comments. I know he was on a late shift tonight, but we can have our say in the playoff and title race, absolutely. Marcus saying Leeds are looking shaky. I mean, I haven't seen it, but to concede to Swansea in the last kick of the game when they could have gone top is just shows you how tough and tense that's going to get.
I mean, you need to change it, to Melia is looking shaky, not Leeds, because Leeds are really good.
Correct.
But it's just him.
Another brilliant.
If they sign Michael Cooper and not Sheffield United, they'd be up by now. They'd be 100%. I think he's cost them 10 points, Meslier.
He's made them worse. Yeah.
Yeah, no, brilliant observation. I mean, just looking at it, it's, when I cling on to that glimmer of hope, because there is obviously 6 points. Hull obviously getting beat by Luton, and this is it wasn't ideal Luton, and Gavin hit the nail on the head, because you have to look at it this way. Forget about other teams. We can only focus on ourselves. But Luton beating Hull, drags Hull right on the edge again, which will, after some good results. Cardiff as well, getting a draw, still keeps them teetering. I mean, all right, sort of Stoke won and Portsmouth won. Oxford lost. So it's like they're still like, oh, it's not. Well, even for Stoke on 42.
Stoke 42.
There's a lot of shuffling going on there, and we may bring it up actually on Thursday night's live lounge. We haven't thought of a presentation yet, but I'm thinking maybe we analyse, gents, the final run in that all those teams have, probably from Stoke down, to be honest. So anything can sort of really happen. I mean, Derby obviously couldn't play this weekend because of Preston in the FA Cup. That means they're going to have a Saturday and a Tuesday game, which they won't appreciate. They get an extra week's rest, which will do no harm. But yeah, will that upset their momentum they had?
Mate, I said this to you, I think, on text this morning. This is all irrelevant, right? To coin a phrase where I sit now instead of me swearing is poppycock.
Yes.
We don't need to focus on anyone else. What we need to focus on is we've got 7 games to set our stall out for next season.
Yeah.
Right? It's all about performance now.
Let me go back to
that.
that.
I think Miron, to a certain degree, he's kind of said that in the presser pre-game on Thursday at Home Park. He basically said, what is it? Well, performances come first. We've got to get good performances will lead to points. If we just literally become blinkered and say, okay, this is the team, it's going to play a run of games, we're going to play in this way, we're going to look to do these things, and we're going to build on it every week. And I think defensively we're solid. Midfield's looking better, but it's not brilliant. Up front, where we need to challenge ourselves, I think, and be a bit more clinical. If we concentrate on performance will look at the points. If we need them, if we get them, we'll look after themselves. But it's pointless, and we've all been here before. It's only Hull, it's only Luton, it's only Cardiff, and we've tripped ourselves up so many times. But I think playing home or away with the current team and the current mindset, playing on the break with 30% possession, right, being resolute at the back and working hard for every transition suits us. So yes, of course, Middlesbrough away, perfect game. They've got a shaky back four or shaky defence. They get caught in transition a lot. So a couple of games this year where they were pretty woeful and they had a really bad spell, and I think they were caught in transition a lot. Sheffield United are going to come and dominate us at home park. I remember a certain game last year against Leicester, where my father-in-law, who's from Leicestershire, sat next to me, and we beat them 1-0, and Bundu was outstanding. And that was all but a smash and grab, wasn't it? And then we were under the cosh for a long time. Just bad performance. You know, and if guess what? If it comes down to May the 3rd, and at 12:29, we're going win today and other teams lose, and we might have a chance. Fair play. But guess what?
Yeah.
That's miles away from anyone's head. Let's just work on this squad for next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's absolutely, Gavin. And I think if Steve, sort of pits a lot of us in the WhatsApp group, and I think actually, so Steve said, think he needs to try as in music and give our youngsters a chance. They haven't had a look since he joined. I think I've wanted that at times, but actually, when you digest what Gavin's just said there, Herbie, you look at it and say, actually, we want to try and go out, with a fight for those remaining games. And actually, Muslich wants to does want to get his team playing his style, where a number of those players will be here next season, in the squad, or others that might have to fight, for their next contract. There's a couple that, or a few that do have their contracts coming to an end. So actually, do you know what? While there's still a sliver, and why he wants to see and show what his team can do, I don't think the youngsters will get a sniff, because you go back to the points we've said earlier, with Beidou, with Obafemi not getting enough game time or frequency of matches. So to try and throw Roberts in or a Zaka in again, and or even Finn, they're going to be in the same sort of situation. So actually stabilise. Let's go with what he wants to keep as a regular team, and mix it up with subs where you need to. I think, Herbie, we could end, and actually, because the mindset thing again. Look, go out there, gents. What have you got to lose? Everybody's expecting us now. We're dead and buried. And that's where I think it was a little bit different yesterday. Go out there with a bit more of a let's see what we can do.
Yeah, I don't see. We've got 7 games left. What have we got to lose if we play our best team every single game? And I don't. And I think it's important that us fans are okay to resign the fact that we are relegated and that we probably will go down. But it's important that the manager and the players and everyone around the club doesn't feel like that, and feels like whatever happens, it is not over until it is physically impossible. So I think that we need to try and hold that mindset for the players. And you can like that might be put as a idea that are like happy clappers and all that sort of stuff, that no, we're still in it and all that. Well, I think for the players and the manager, it's important for them to have the idea that it is still possible, and even just one win can change the whole court. Like if we get one win, right? So we beat Norwich.
A win against Norwich
and no one else wins, and we're 3 points off. Yeah. And like you'd be stupid to not think that we just need to win again. Like it's just, and it can happen.
Yeah, stranger things have happened. That's why for me, there is still that sliver of hope. But like I said, mentally I'm resigned to the fact that that we probably will go down. But this is where I think he's not gonna mix it up too much. With the youngsters, because for that reason, look, I think I'm looking forward to Norwich. I think if we can, as Argyle fans, just see some really good, opportunities and games, for these last 9 matches, then great, because no one wants us to end on an absolute whimper and you go into the off season really negative and even more silly thoughts being expressed on the social channels. 100%. Right, because as we're coming to an end now, so I just want to share with you just a reminder for those that don't know, and thank you for those that stuck with us. We do know that obviously since 8 o'clock we've been clashing with another popular Argyle, even more popular, but Maybe one day, Rodney. Obviously, so it's good to have those that we've had in and stuck with us. So much appreciated from all of us. But yes, we do now have our Block 9 website. So the website address is, as you can see up there, the block9.co.uk. So in here you'll see links to the latest shows from the YouTube playlist. There you go. Miron Muslic's Hoofball Dissected. It's a really good one, if we do say so ourselves. And also you got previous ones we've done. The Live Lounge is all about taking a different sort of approach to the football and what we want to talk about, and I'm sure we'll mix it up at times as well with other league conversations. We've done the one with Andy as well on the psychological effects on footballers and fans. Gavin did another brilliant one on not to say Andy's wasn't, because it was very good, at the investment side. So with the newsletter coming out, Andy Parkinson's interview, go and check those out. They are also available on, as you can see here. I've just linked in the Acast, but you can see all of these on podcasts, whether it's you've got Apple, Android, or any of the platforms that you listen to. Just search the Block 9 podcast, and we will have. Scroll down. These are the articles that Herbie is going to bring to us, and you will get your post-match on there as well. But don't forget, we've got our little fun game called Championship Shootout, and I'll have a quick little blast while you're all on with us. So this is something I made just to bring a little bit of fun to the football. Don't forget, when you're playing this game, to get your Block 9 bonuses to double your score. And if you die, like I did there, and I've got some cool sound effects, you can see... Right,
Ninja Matt has absolutely smashed it.
Just to pick context into this. So the game was all done as a bit of a PR push, and I wanted to create something fun with AI because I do a lot of that, and I did this. And earlier on today, I screen clipped what was then hang on a minute, let me put his comment up. I may have had an hour to spare this afternoon. The game on the website is incredibly addictive. So this is the leaderboard that I put up this afternoon, and on there, as you can see, it's got, let me just change the view, it's got Martin, who managed to beat Carl's score. CB03 as well, a CDB03 had a good go as well. Martin was on there 4-3-8-9, and I thought, okay, that'll be probably not too dissimilar. Well, clearly wrong. Ninja Matt is absolutely... and I have to say, although I don't record the level, so it only ever obviously stores the top 10 scores, it is not easy. Obviously the aim of the game is leave your last badge or your opponent and try and get the bonus so you double your score on the highest point. But it does get faster or more aggressive, the opposition shooting at you. So it's Space Invaders style for those that are old enough to remember that. So Matt, I am very impressed. And maybe we'll get to an end of the season, and whoever's top, we might give away a mug. Speaking of mugs, so we do have our shop live.
Yeah, I was going to say they're not on the show tonight. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, they're not. No, Carl and Andy. Although Andy's still listening in. But yes, you can get your Block 9 mugs. These are decent sized mugs. I'm drinking one from my tea. They're 11-ounce mugs. This is the standard one, which literally just has the two logos on if you don't want our ugly mugs. And then you also have the team mug as well. And there's a little video because of my brilliant production skills here showing you what's on the mug for the team one. So, and obviously we've got new members. It's not easy creating these things, so I'm going to end up having to do more if we get some sales. So go on, all $9.99 a mug plus $2.50 delivery. It does help us support what we do. So always appreciate that for anybody who wants a mug. But yes, the championship game is addictive. Say again,
Michael. Great Father's Day present.
Not
necessarily
absolutely
with our mugs on it, but the generic one or the whole team one makes a wonderful Father's Day present. And I think you should build a caricature for a person. So let's say Ninja Matt, because I know he'll probably want his free for his score of about 1 billion by the time we get to the end of the season on the game.
Yeah.
Send in your photograph. You can build him an emoji. What do they call those things? A picture of us?
Emojis. Yeah. Caricatures,
or avatar or whatever the hell they call it these days. I don't know. I'm not done with the kids.
Yeah.
Then you can create your own mug with your own avatar. I'll leave it there on it. What a fantastic Father's Day present that would be. Herbs, you've got to get your photo of your old man in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's June sometime, I think, isn't it? Father's Day? I don't know.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I may have a look at a little discount as well for that time. So, God, entice you. You can't tell I'm a retailer, can you? The as Ninja Matt has said, yes, the game is a lot of fun, nostalgic as hell. It can be very addictive. You do need, unless you've got a tablet with a keyboard, it's not phone friendly. I've not been able to go as advanced as that, but that does show you with a bit of imagination and with the power of AI what you can do. And I am desperately not wanting to make a League One next season. And as Accidental Pilgrim posted just now, yes, we're not going down without a fight. So I think we shall leave it there, just over an hour and 10. So we're just the three of us. So thank you everybody for sticking it out. We don't need Andy or Carl or anyone else, do we? We'll just stick with it. Hopefully, though, we'll get them back on soon. And also Emma, who joined us as our first female contributor to the podcast. She will hopefully be able to make it back on again soon. So we'll look forward to that. So yeah, Thursday, look, we'll come up with something. We may do a little bit of a comparison on these final runs that that fellow opposition have got. But it ain't out until the fat lady sings, and we will go for it like a bat out of hell. That's not a Elton John one, but still good either way. Any final thoughts, Gavin, before we close out?
I think we just all, if we all accept where we are, then life's a lot easier to live, isn't it? So
yeah, exactly.
I feel much happier with the world now. All I say is concentrate on the performance for the next 7 games. Let's all get to Home Park on Saturday and scream our lungs out for to beat the Canaries, because we walloped them last year, if you remember rightly. Oh, and what was the score again? 6-2.
Whittaker hat trick, wasn't it?
And we lost up there 6-1, so we owe them, don't we? Let's be candid. Be nice to enter the fray with a massive stonking win to lay our authority back with a all improved Mirren ball. But it is what it is. And hope everyone who's today has looked after their mothers suitably as well, just as an aside, because you only get one.
Yeah, absolutely. Herbie, anything to add?
Yeah, just echo what Gavin said, really. Just you can resign yourself to relegation, but still go to games. Don't act like it's nothing new that we haven't seen before. Just keep going, keep supporting. Just try and find the positives in a negative season.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And guys, look, thank you everybody who's come on and watched us tonight and stuck with us again. We do appreciate it, and it makes it all the more worthwhile. You can go and find us on YouTube, X, at the Block 9 Podcast. That's where we predominantly put our content out to everybody. So go check that out. And like I said, go and check out that game. It's great fun. theblock9.co.uk. Other than that, we shall see you if you can join us on Thursday. It's at our new time now, 8:45, just so we can bring it a little bit earlier than usual. So yes, and as Steve says finally in the comments, in Music We Trust, let's look forward to that. But we'll digest a bit more, or preview a bit more of the Norwich game on Thursday as well. So Herbie, Gavin, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we'll see you all next time.
Cheers.